Okay, I'm going to share my screen because what I want to share is the MLS listings. And I think pretty much everyone, I know Michelle Vargas does not have our same MLS. She's attached to, I think, Metro List. So with everyone else, we have this version here. What I want to talk about today is a hot
What's the
sheet.
difference between Metro List and MLS listings?
Different. It's still an MLS source. It's a platform. It's just a different provider. Why did she go to them?
Oh,
I don't remember why she went to them. Maybe it's because she lives in Los Banos. Maybe. I don't know. But I just know she has Metro List.
okay.
Some people can subscribe to different or more than one. But it's fine. So
Okay.
there's a few different ways to search in MLS, but I think now is a good time to reach out to everybody you know, your sphere. If you haven't already put your contact list together, or and hopefully Armida will see this so she can put her contact list together. I know we have a few other new people in the group that are working on adding people. Ideally, you have 100 people on your list. 100 might sound like not a lot. 100 is manageable. You always want to add to it. 300 to 400 is a really robust database of people, and you want to add people, people that you've done business with, people that like you, trust you. You want to add everybody in there and then sort them out, A, B, C, D, or buyer, seller, however you want to sort them. There's a multitude of ways you can sort people. And what a lot of people do, what a lot of agents do, is they have a list. They start out with a list, but then over time, they just kind of fall off. People fall off the list, or they don't keep in touch with the people that they put on the list for one reason or another. So now is an excellent time, if you haven't reached out to some people in a while, or even if you have, reach out to them to give them a hot sheet and let them know what the market looks like in their neighborhood. Yes, I know you're not going to sell, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I just wanted you to know, to have an idea of what the market looks like in your neighborhood, so you know what's going on and you're aware. And this is something I'm just started doing, and I could do it every quarter if you like, or however frequent or infrequent. I'm happy to do this at least once a year. You'll get something like this from me. Why? It's a way to have something of value to give to somebody that you're talking to, whether it's over the phone. Ideally, you're talking to them on the phone, reaching out saying, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I haven't talked to you in a long time. How are you? How's the family? You always want to do the forward conversation. Talk about the family, talk about your job. How's your job, the occupation? How's, how was the trip to Tahiti that you told me about? I know it's been a while. How did that go? And what are you looking forward to now? I know a lot of, you have kids in school, or do you have anybody graduating, blah, blah, blah. Hey, the reason why I was calling was I just wanted to let you know I have this hot sheet available. And what is this hot sheet? It's about the market in your area. And I'm trying to keep the radius really tight to about a quarter of a mile from your actual home. So this tells you everything that's active, pending, sold, withdrawn, canceled, and just gives you a snapshot of what is going on in your neighborhood, whether you've paid attention or not, because not everything has a for sale sign in front of it. This will just give you a good idea of what's going on in case you're interested. So this is just something for you to reach out, and just a way to touch everybody. And the way to get that hot sheet is this is one way I'm going to search, is I click on the matrix search button.
Uh-huh.
And then I have a property address that I wanted to grab. Where did it go? It was 2110 Golden. Go back. 2110 Golden something is my address that I want to search for, to give you an example. Here we go. 2110 Golden Oaks. See, and then let's go back to, let's go to this right here. Okay, so now that we're back at this page, we're going to scooch it up a smidge, go to active, contingent, pending, sold, withdrawn, expired, canceled. I'm going to say from sale date to 1/24 plus sign is anything from February 1st to current.
Mhm.
A minus sign, it's going to be anything previous. So I'm going to do the same thing here. 24 plus, and then the same thing here. 1/24 plus, and then the same thing here, 1/24 plus. Okay, and then I'm going to scoot down to this map search area within one. I could do a mile, 2 miles, up to 10-mile radius. I'm just going to do a 1/4 mile of this property. And once it populates, you actually have to click on the address that populates, so it gets blue in there. And then now it tells me there were 6 matches from February. So let's take a look at what those matches are. And this tells me there are about 4 or 5 actives, 1 active contingent or pending, and then a sold. So we'll take a look at what those look like. Very different price ranges. If you could see this, from 473 all the way up to 1.24. Well, the property that I put in happens to be a condominium. So probably the 1.24 is a single family residence, but we can take a look. Or the point of it is, I mean, I definitely would take a look, but the point of it is to click on print. And then here, you're going to go down to this section where it says hot sheet. And hot sheet, I'm going to preview this to see what it looks like. And what I like about this is that it gives me the MLS numbers. It has when the date changed for the status. So this one changed from active to contingent just this week, last week on the 22nd. And that went contingent, right? And it was on the market for 3 days. So the price was at 1.249. Something about the price, the location, and probably the way it looks or condition got this. There was a cream puff property, meaning there was something so dialed in about it that it sold within 3 days, or maybe it's just a perfectly, wanted area that people were like, I want that property. And so 3 days. Whereas the second one, if you look at that one, that's a new listing, but it says days on market 237 days. So maybe that's either an extended listing or somebody just listed it without letting the timer count. In MLS, if you have a listing and it's just been on there sitting, you can cancel it and relist it. Or if somebody else were to relist it, ideally you would wait 30 days so that the day count resets back to 0. Otherwise, if somebody else relisted it, or even if I had extended it, it would continue forward with that day count. So that does not look good. The public, everything, there's a lot of optics with real estate. So the public's going to see that, and somebody's going to say, well, it's 950. It's been on 237 days. Something's wrong with it. Let me offer way less than that. No one's going to want to pay full price for it, most likely. And then this one here, list price decreased 2.34%. So that is probably a condo or something, 555, and it went down, and it was on the market for 84 days, and it decreased in price on March 20th. So these are very telling. This one here, which is really good, 3308 Golden Oaks Lane, seems like it might be near where my subject property is, because it changed from pending to sold March 10th, and that was on the market for 16 days. That one could be a very good one to take a look at. So something like this, I would love to be able to say, hey, Manuel, I have a hot sheet. I want to talk to you. I have a market update for your neighborhood. I would love to spend just 10 minutes in person to go over this. I could drop it off at your house. Are you going to be there 10 minutes max? I don't need to even go in the house, whatever, however you want to get your foot in the door to actually go over this with them. And just like I did, explain about the change in date and what that looks like. And they may not be interested in selling at all, and that's perfectly fine. But this gets them to have a little bit more information and education about their neighborhood, what properties are actually priced at, what they're actually selling for, whether it's a condo or a single family residence. But something like this could be very handy, especially if anybody, I don't know if anyone in the group is doing any door knocking. I know Michelle actually does door knocking. She's really good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it some people don't like doing it, but now I think it might not be a terrible idea because there are so many people that are on the fence. A lot of sellers, think about the sellers right now who are on the fence. They're like, I don't know, should we, shouldn't we? Well, we all know
Mhm.
right now it's a great time to sell for sellers anyways. If you take out all of the weird recent history of economics and whatnot, the cyclical way of real estate was, late spring, early summer was a really good time to sell your property. And so, and kind of always went dormant during the fall, winter time. So it just kind of depends on what's happening around. And there's always that little lull right around prom and graduation, but then you have a small window right before people go off on vacations for the summer. And then when they come back again, people want to go and buy right before everybody gets back and settled into school. So people want to make moves at certain time frames during the year. This could be a great way to show somebody who's been on the fence about selling, like, you really might want to make a move before people leave for vacation, before, people come back from the fall, and just know that there's going to be these windows of time. At least give them that information so they're armed with information to make decisions, one way or the other, if they decide, if they're one of those sellers that are sitting on the fence.
I see. Okay.
But yeah, so that's one way to show the property, the neighborhood. And then, so I went through this side over here on Matrix Search, but you can always just go straight to Matrix
Matrix.
and then you can search up here on this side. And there's kind of a few different ways to search on this way. You could do cross property searches where you can do residential, mobile home, vacant land. You
Hmm.
could just kind of
The
throw
whole works.
yeah, the whole ball of wax. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then there's always the market reports that you can either create them or you can go back and have one created for you through AccuList. And this is another quick way to uh it's another quick way to get information. Hey, get information to, we'll say Monterey County, to your clients. You could do a quick update, even if I don't know, if you video messages to your clients in email. Email is a great way to video message people. You could do longer form there. If you want to do a short form video, you could do that over text or social media even, and you can just say the market in Watsonville. Here's what we have. The median price of homes is $753. That can't be right. So this is where I would look at the data and compare the data that's on here compared to what's actually showing in MLS. That seems awfully low for a median price in Watsonville. Median prices have been selling within 10 days on the market. The highest number of days is 157 and 5 homes sold. And this would have been April 2024. But you can give a quick stat update to people if you want. All you have to do is just go to this section here and it gives you this information. And you can always download it and you can email it to people also. And then it has your information over here on the right-hand side.
Nice.
Just a quick little, there's some quick stuff that you can get away with and stop share.
So when we upload our photo to this system, it's gonna have me and my wife's photo on it.
Yes,
So, because when she sends it from here, it'll be in her name.
yes.
Okay. When I join Fresno Metro over there,
Mhm.
um, will it build something for me very similar?
Their MLS will have something probably similar. That'll be fun. We can look at that together if you want, because I don't know what it looks like.
I don't know what it looks like either. I have the link. I just don't know what it looks like yet.
Let's answer some of these questions that came in from the chat today on
Sure.
our so some of these were, let's see here. Oh, first shout out to Kelly Chateau. She has that listing in Carmel. And oh, I don't think that was on the chat. She's got a listing in Carmel and it is on, where'd you go, Kelly? Kelly, where'd you go? She's got a listing. Kelly. 24620 Lower Trail in Carmel by the Sea, and it's at 2.1. And maybe she has an offer on it, but I think she's looking for more offers on that one. So in case anybody has anyone, give some support to Kelly and show that property, sell that property better.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, okay, so one of the questions that Michelle had in the group was, another scenario to share is from time to time you come across this. How would you deal with seniors that do not use emails? This can be tricky for everyone involved, the lender, title, referral agent, especially if they have to relocate. If you have seniors, more than likely you're going to be hand delivering everything to them. If they are at a distance away where hand delivering is not practical, then you're going to rely on FedEx. I had a situation where I had a lot of sellers. I had 8 sellers on one transaction and they were not in California. I had one in California and the rest were all over the United States. And FedEx was my best friend. And there was one that was in like Missouri, somewhere deep in the Ozarks, and they only went to town like once a week. So I had to call her a week in advance to let her know when to go out and get the mail in wherever. So that was fun. So that's how you would handle that. And then if they're a car distance away, sometimes you just need to, there's been, I don't know, maybe Manuel, you've had this situation happen since you do loans. Sometimes you need to get the paperwork from the lender and drive it to the title company in San Francisco. You get in your car and you drive where you need
Oh
to
yeah.
make it happen.
Oh yeah, of course. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've totally played FedEx before.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We courier, we do whatever we need to get the documents where they need to go, especially when there's a time crunch. You do it. Okay, so there was another one. I also have a new listing that just went live. Oh, yay, Michelle. Congrats on the Coffee Road Senior Mobile Home Park. Awesome. Oh, maybe Manuel and Armida, maybe you guys will have buyers. That's in Modesto. Maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
What's the address?
That one is 3955 Coffee Road, space 92. And anyone who is in KV Core and wants to be able to post, you can post other people's listings as long as you have their permission. You just ask that listing agent in at EXP, hey, Kelly, I might actually do an ad for your listing that you have if you're okay with it. And I will text you separately to make sure that's the case. And I can do an ad to boost her listing. And it definitely says it's her listing. It's a courtesy I'm doing to promote it. So that way I can try and collect buyers or sellers off of my own advertising of her listing. So Michelle did that for one of my listings a while back, and she got a couple leads out of it. And I think one of them she just closed. So it's a great way to share each other's listings when you have them. So you utilize the advertising that you can at KV Core. And that is not super expensive at all. You could pay, I don't know, like $20 or $40 if you want. And I think it runs for a week or 2 weeks. Michelle Vargas is a really good one to ask about how to do that if you don't know how. Or I'm sure there's a video for KV Core on how to do that. Okay, so George had a question for the group. When contacting off-market properties for clients, I've been using True People Search addresses to look up. Is there any other phone lookup sites you would recommend? Yes, check the work chat group. Manuel and Armida, there's a workplace chat group through EXP. If you have not gotten assigned to it or logged into it, do it as soon as you can. Their link would have been somewhere in that first email, that welcome email. You want to check that out. And if you can't find it, let me know and I will send you a link for it. It's like Facebook, but it's for EXP agents and a whole bunch of groups of people at EXP. So if you are, there is, I forgot the name of it. I will find the name and I will get it out to everybody. But there is I want to call it, I want to say it's dial safe. You call dial safe. You could put phone numbers, you could put a whole spreadsheet of hundreds of names and numbers or hundreds of names and addresses into the spreadsheet, and it will produce as many phone numbers that it can. And it supposedly scrubs them somewhat, and it'll let you know if that number is on the do not call list, etc. So that's one way to get numbers or verify numbers. Another way is to work with your title company representative. Not all title reps are created equal. There are some really good ones. I have a great one. I absolutely love him. He's fantastic. He will run searches for areas, neighborhoods that you like. He will say, okay, here's like 300 in the parameters that we're talking about. How do you want phone numbers? Do you want emails? And I say yes to both. He'll say, okay, for every phone number, it's probably going to be like 10 cents or 12 cents each number that they I have to pay for 20 cents for the 300, but it'll probably produce maybe 70% of that 300 as an example. And so I'll pay like 20 bucks for that list of phone numbers. But then you have a spreadsheet with phone numbers and email addresses that you can utilize over and over for specific areas or to just drip on with your marketing, etc. So that's another way to do it. I found that, and it's Dominic Wooten with Chicago Title. He's out of Morgan Hill. Amazing. I love him. He works so hard for realtors. He's amazing. I have not, and I've been in this a long time. I have my favorite title people, but when I came across Dominic, he's very unique. I've not met a lot of people that do that. They might, but he's incredible. So I highly recommend him and Chicago Title whenever you can. And what else? Recent activity when showing your buyers anything on the market, have listing agents requested buyer. Oh, has anybody seen any agents requesting the BRBC form yet? Don't know. I have not heard of that happening yet, but I've seen some agents representing sellers that are not willing to pay commissions. So I thought that was interesting to see who was going to be the first to do that